Om Shanti. You see, in today's world, whatever we need, we look outside us. If we want money, we look out there. We want friends, we look out there. We want position and status, we find it there. Everything is there. Family is there. Our car is there. Our house is there. Our land is there. Everything is out there. So we are looking for many things that we need in our lives out there. Unfortunately, we never get satisfied. Why? Because for physical things, the body becomes satisfied. So when we have a nice house, the body is rested well. When we have a good position, the body feels great. When we have good food out there, the body feels satisfied. But what about the inside of human beings? So in spirituality, we learn about the spirit, the soul, the resident of the body, that lives in the body. That resident, that soul also needs many, many things. The body needs food, house, clothing, shelter, wealth, happiness, physical. The soul needs silence. The soul needs peace. The soul needs power. The soul needs knowledge. The soul needs love. So there are these two things, the inside and the outside. Now, for the outside, what happens if one country wants power? They fight against another country. They go to war with that country, and then if they win, they loot that country, they take the wealth of the country and take those whatever wealth they have stolen back to their country. So this is snatching, grabbing, stealing, looting, all happens outside if there is a physical war. Now, if there is, say, enmity, two people are not friends, they are enemies, what do? They evade each other, they talk behind their back, maybe they gossip about them to their friends. So this happens in the outside world. So the war that we normally have with the outside world is usually physical. It is fighting with the arms, with the hands, with the body power, with nuclear power. Or if we have enemies who are our neighbors or what, then we refuse to talk to them, refuse to cooperate. This is a physical, external scene. What happens within us? Say, I have no hope in myself. Say, I have no hope in myself. Can I fight with anyone? Is there an enemy outside there? Is there somebody who can give me hope? Normally, when we talk about the soul, it is the duty of the soul. It's the duty of the soul to make itself have power, have hope, get up, fight for itself. So as far as spirituality is concerned, each soul has to fend for itself. No one soul can help another soul in a real sense. It can give advice, it can give inspiration, it can sort of show the path, but the real effort that a soul does has to come from within it. So if I want to become a better human being, the soul, a better soul, the body acting in a better way, I have to own myself, and the war begins inside. So there is an inside war, there is an outside war. Outside war, we know what happens. There is loss, there is destruction, there is death, there is sorrow, there is killing and looting. But when there is a war inside, I want to become a better person. I have to face myself. I have to challenge myself. I have to teach myself that I am the owner, or I am the soul. I have to learn how to pick up my energy, pick up my hope, and how I can empower myself. So this is our topic today, spiritual challenges. So every soul is its own friend, and every soul is its own enemy. When it is its own enemy, it relies a lot on the body, it relies a lot on physical things which are temporary, it relies on people, and it is always looking out there. This kind of a soul is its own enemy. Why? Because it is not looking at itself, not empowering itself, not giving it treatment, not giving it love, not giving it silence. And so it becomes its own enemy, because the soul slowly becomes weaker, weaker, and diseased. So the soul is its own enemy. Now, in this spiritual challenge, the soul learns to become its own friend. The soul becomes its own best friend. How? Giving it silence. Why silence? Silence is the language of the soul. The soul needs silence to be in touch with itself, to understand itself, to look at itself, to appreciate the beauty hidden inside, to feel the feeling of belongingness. The soul takes charge of itself in silence. When we talk about science, it is always looking at the outside. What is an atom? What is this and that? So science looks outside. Silence looks inside. So when the soul challenges itself and it becomes its own friend, it starts looking inside. Now to look inside and to understand, what am I? Who am I? How am I? What is my internal health? What am I to do? How do I go from here to there, to a better life, to a higher uh, awareness? What do I do? So the soul needs silence to communicate with itself. Number one, silence. This is why when we sit in yoga, we are silent. Why? We look at ourselves. Number two, when the soul looks at itself, it then sees that its fundamental need, its fundamental longing is peace. Why peace? Because peace is the religion of the soul. Peace is the religion of the soul. When the soul is at peace, it can think better, think sharper, think positive, think good for the self and good for the outside world. So peace is the most fundamental need, the basic need of the soul. And this is why we say Om Shanti. What is Om Shanti? I, the soul, I am in my religion of peace. Om Shanti. So these are the two things that we have to fight inside us. Because normally we say, I have no time. I have no time to sit down and do yoga. I have no time to come to the center. I have no time to listen. I have no time to sit down and be silent. But every one of us, we have 24 hours. Every one of us, we can divide our time according to our priority. So one of the first priorities that we have to give ourselves, if we are our own best friends. So the soul gives time to be silent, to be peaceful, and to touch itself. Now, when it touches itself, there are many things that will erupt. A lot of things will erupt. In the soul, there is lust, there is anger, there is greed, there is attachment, there is ego, there is jealousy, there is laziness, and lots of other things. So when the soul is quiet and peaceful, it accepts its weaknesses. It says, yes, I have these vices in me. It accepts this. But knowledge tells the soul, you are not that. You are peace. You are powerful. You are pure. You are happy. You are loving. You have knowledge. You have bliss. Knowledge tells you this. And then when we look at ourselves in silence and in peace, then we tell ourselves, God says, I am this. The divine says, I'm this. Now I see myself as this. What do I do? So in this situation, the war begins. The challenges begin. The effort begins. The love begins. The spiritual love, the spiritual war, the spiritual confrontation, the spiritual meeting of the positive and the negative take place. But sometimes we feel that the negative is stronger than the positive, the bad is stronger than the good. Never give up. Never ever give up, because the positive is our true self, whereas the negative is something that we have taken up as our own on our journey in this journey of life and death. We've taken up. So what we have picked up is now to us our real self. And what is our real self, we have forgotten and we have not used them. So when these two sort of face each other, there is an internal conflict, an internal war, a spiritual awakening, a spiritual confrontation. Whatever name you give it, it's okay. So what happens? There is a silent war going on inside that I have to stop using anger. I have to stop using greed. I have to stop using negativity. I have to learn how to be loving, how to be soft, how to be pure, how to be selfless, how to be internalized, how to be introvert. This month's slogan, spiritual signal, is introversion. What is introversion? The soul gives time for itself to understand itself, to know what are the diseases that are inside, to heal itself, to become its own nurse, its own doctor, and then become a good patient and become strong and healthy once more. The internal war, the internal uh, awakening. You can even call it a reawakening, because we were that, we forgot about that, we reawaken to our original self. Brothers and sisters, awakening to our real self is authentic, is real, is permanent, is something that makes our life happy, peaceful, pure, loving, powerful. Anything that is false makes our life full of anxiety, fear, full of corruption, full of enmity, full of unhappiness, full of instability, lots of things. So, do we want to be here shaking and shaking in negativity, or do we want to be our real self? When you are real, there's nothing to hide. When you are real, you are yourself. There's nothing to pretend. When you are real, you bloom. When you are real, there is fragrance. When you are real, you become a flower. So this is what we learn in Raja Yoga. Become a fragrant, fully bloomed flower. And this is what we learn in Raja Yoga. But when we think about the body, then we think of lots of money, lots of titles. But does that give us the inner peace? So this is something that each one of us has to sort out within ourselves. So, brothers and sisters, today we talk about the internal world. When we look at the world outside us, every country, every race, every part of the world is in distress. They are all looking for wealth, for power, for peace, for happiness, but none of them have it, because this is the end of the cycle. This is Kali Yuga, and there is everywhere chaos, unhappiness, diseases, sorrow, fighting. Why have we come to this stage? There is a lesson that we have to learn. When we cling on to something that is false and we call that our own, my anger, my greed, my needs, my wants, my love, my possession, when we forget about the soul and we look at the body, there are a lot of needs. My, mine, mine. So when we stop looking at the outside and we don't want anything from the outside, and we look at our inside and we say, I have to become a better person. I have to understand myself. I have to repair myself. I have to cling on to the one truth, God. I have to listen to Him with very, with a lot of attention, carefully, because He is the one who can bring me back to my original self. I've moved far away from my original self. I have to return to myself. So he helps me to touch myself. He helps me to understand myself. He helps me to grow. He helps me to become positive. But when I use the word he, God is not a male. God is a soul, neither male nor female, but normally we use the pronoun he. But actually, the soul is an it, but it is living, a living being. A soul is a living being, and even God is a living God, the soul, the supreme soul, the highest on high soul. But he is the truth. That is why for God, we use the word sada. Sada means the ever constant, the non-changing entity. Sada Shiva. It's a long term that has been used from time immemorial. For God only we use the word Sada Shiva, the unchanging, the permanent, the real, the truth, the ever beautiful, the ever pure, the truthful, the beautiful one. So, Sada Shiva. Sada means always, and Shiva means benevolent. The soul that is always unchanging and benevolent. This is why we take time to look at him with our third eye. Meditation is looking at God, not with our physical eyes. We can't see him, but we look at him with our third eye. Why do we have to look at him? When we look at something beautiful, great, lovely, we become that. When we look at something fearful, horrible, ugly, we become that. So we are what we think. You have heard about it. I've heard about it. We know about it. But what do we think? So when we think about God, the ever beautiful one, then we become that. So this is why we have to focus our thoughts on God. And there is a fight here. Why? The body says, I want ice cream, I want chocolates, I want cake, I want this and that. The body says, I want good clothes, I want a lot of money, I want this, I want that. So on one side, there is the pull of the body. And on the other side, the soul says, I want to touch myself. I want to touch the ever beautiful. I want to be at home with myself, full body, soul. So this is our battle. This is our war battle. So what we learn in Raja Yoga is to keep a good balance. Keep a balance. We need the body very much because without the body, the soul cannot learn and accumulate and change its fortune, change its destiny. The body is useful for the soul to change its path from ugly to beautiful. So we need the body. So keep a balance between soul and body. And then there is another thing that which we cannot avoid, our responsibilities, our duty to the family, to the people, to the country, and to our own selves. That also we cannot avoid. So we have to sort of have a timetable inside us how we can sort of give time for the soul, give time for the body, give time for the family, and give time for our work, and also give time for social activity and social welfare. So all this has to come. It doesn't mean that once we are on the spiritual path, we are just spiritual beings, yoga, yoga, yoga the whole day. No. So there has to be a balance. So this is another war. How we balance our timing, our timetable, and our duties. War. So keep a good balance. Have the proper priorities. Your health, your bodily health, your internal happiness and truth, then your responsibilities, the family, and your work, and the people in your country, and what you can do to help them a little. We cannot just live for ourselves and fend for ourselves and then pass away. No, that is very greedy, selfish. We have to have time for others so that there is community feeling, there is family feeling, there is a feeling of belongingness to one country, one land, one world, one family. So we have to reach out. So doing all this, it is, for me, I would say it's a battle. It's a battle that we have to fight. So it's a beautiful battle because in this battle, there is no one dying. We are not killing anybody. In this battle, we become our friends. We become friends to our family. We become friends to outside people. We become friends to the world. Friends, friends, friends. When we forget the soul, everyone is our enemy, 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 and there's want, want, want. Once we become friends, then there is giving, sharing, loving, growing. Very important. So, can I keep a proper balance? This is another battle that we have within ourselves. No killing, no competing, no complaining, no criticizing, and always being in harmony with others. So, this is a big challenge which we have to face. So, this is an internal battle, and we have to sort out how is it that I can arrange my timetable in such a way that I attend to all these various aspects of my life so that I lead a wholesome, full life as a yogi, as a human being, as a member of the family, and a member of the society. So many balances the soul has to undertake. Now, when we get into this internal war, we don't use weapons. For the physical war, we have those days stones and sticks, and then spears and bows and arrows. And then later on, it came to guns, and now it's atomic nuclear warfare. So it's becoming worse and worse and more deadly. But our weapons are love. Our weapons are peace. Our weapons are cooperation. Our weapons are understanding, is understanding. So all these things we use as weapons. So weapons, they kill. Weapons, spiritual, they make us beautiful. So one kills, one makes us into beautiful beings. So we use weapons. There we have you and I, your country, my country, your race, my race. But here it is we, it is our. So our world, our family, our one human race, our progress, our togetherness, our, no more you, I, no more. It is we hour. So this happens when we get into a spiritual battle. And it's beautiful because it empowers you, it makes you loving, it makes you peaceful, you, you are accepting there's no conflict within the self. Again, in this battle, there is gain. We become stronger, we understand more, we become mature, we understand how to mingle with the world and to keep ourselves always above so that we do not come and play with the mud. So, again, how to be above all the time. It's a beautiful war. And this war is not expensive. What kind of money do we spend to do yoga? Nothing at all. But that war, imagine a nuclear war, millions and millions and millions are spent, and millions are killed. But this war is free, is inexpensive, it is easy, it can be done by the old and the young, the strong and the weak, the educated and the uneducated, and then the man and the woman, the child and the youth, everyone can learn this. Whereas that war mostly is done by those souls in male bodies. When we talk of a spiritual army, it's souls that form the army. But when we talk about a physical army, mostly they are men who fight. But nowadays there is also a woman's uh, squad and all that. So mostly it is brothers. So when we have this spiritual confrontation, we learn to become satisfied, because once I have this experience of peace, I have this experience of stillness, this itself makes the soul totally at peace with itself. Nothing, just stillness and peace. What if you add love into it? What if you add happiness into it? What if you add power into it? What if you add purity into it? What if you add bliss into it? You become so enthusiastic, so loving, so beautiful, so loving and giving, so angelic. So there's so much achievement and there's no teaching, it's becoming. In the outside world, there is teaching and pointing out there, but in the internal spiritual battle, there is learning, accepting, becoming an angel. Man becomes an angel, man becomes a devil. When there is a physical war, I should say it is devilish. When man practices yoga and becomes good, he becomes an angel. So which do we choose, angel or devil? So it's our choice, but the soul that understands itself, that longs to be its true self, original, eternal, original as a deity, eternal as a soul, when it longs to be its real, organic self, then it longs for peace, purity, power, happiness, love. Whereas the body, its needs are endless. You can never, ever, never, ever give satisfaction to the body. You eat a cake once. Is it enough? You need it another day, another time, another occasion, more and more. You smoke one cigarette. Is it enough? No. You want another, another, and another. You have one house. Is it enough? No. You need another, another, and another. So, in a physical sense, there is no such thing as coming to a stage where I say, I'm satisfied. A millionaire would want to be a multi-millionaire. A multi-millionaire would like to become a billionaire, and there's no end. But when we look inside and we go deeper and deeper, the needs are less and less and less on the physical level. A yogi eats very little. A yogi talks very little. A yogi thinks so much, so much of loving and giving thoughts. A yogi is giving because he's full, he's overflowing, he's giving. So he's full, satisfied, and he can share. Whereas the body, want. The soul, give, give, give. So this is why we have the word Devata, the giver, and Levata, the taker. So am I a Levata that takes, or am I a Devata that gives? So I give. For the soul to become full and overflowing is very, very possible. This is why we show pictures of deities as giving. So this arm, the hand that shows like this, it's blessing, blessing, blessing. May you live long. May you be happy. You're my brother. I love you. I accept you. I hope that you're always happy, healthy, wealthy, wise. Blessing. And the other hand is like this, giving. I give you all my love. I give you all my time. I give you all what I have to make you happy. So Devata. Levata is I. Give or take. So when we give, we become richer. And when we take, we become poorer. Why poorer? Because one time, when the time comes to leave the body, we have to let go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 100, 200, 300 things that we have picked up. Poor. But when I have inside me love, peace, happiness, how do I leave my body? Full, not letting go, not giving up, not throwing away, not forgetting in sorrow, but I go back with love, with confidence, with happiness. So this is a war, the war of the soul that has lost its path on its long journey. The soul, the traveler, it lost its path on the long journey and forgot the way home, forgot what it was, and forgot how to return. So this is why we learn Raja Yoga, to touch again, to retouch, to reconnect to our original self, to see the path home, to see the path to happiness, to see the path to love. So all this is something that's happening inside silently, but full of action, full of emotion, full of truth, full of sincerity, full of love. It's a loving battle where we emerge as victorious. It's not a war of anger, enmity, killing. It's a war inside. It's a battle inside. And who is on our side? Only one divine energy. One divine energy and one little soul can make a stone into honey. Two, one little soul and one divine energy can change stone into water, can change stone into honey. That's all the army is. You don't need big numbers, big spending, big show off. No. So what a beautiful battle it is. And it is fought without sound, without weapons, without spending, without calling for attention. Is such an incognito, a beautiful war that from an ugly worm, you become a chrysalis and then you emerge as a butterfly. Transformation, beautiful freedom. So soul freedom is when the soul uses the body as a weapon and not tied to the body in bondage. When the soul is tied to the body in bondage, it is a slave. It cannot become a hero. When the soul detaches itself from the body and uses the body as a weapon, as a costume, it becomes a hero. So am I a hero or am I a slave? So again, this is the fight that we fight inside us. So we fight to become real. Anything that's real is expensive, rare, beautiful. Anything that is not real, common, it's imitation, it's artificial, it's not real, it's fake. So what am I? What kind of a soul am I? Who am I? How am I? So when we learn Raja Yoga, it's the knowledge that Baba gives is a mirror. So the mirror shows exactly what's happening inside. The mirror shows us our true self. The mirror says, well, there are these black spots and there are these bright spots. Now do something about it. And we do something. So this is a spiritual battle where we come out as heroes, we become examples, and others take inspiration. Whereas the other war there is killing, crying, and loss. So we are thinking about this battle. Only God can teach us this kind of battling. I call it battle because it doesn't come easily. You have to work for it. You have to struggle in many ways. You have to fight with yourself. You have to fight with your tendencies that you have used for so long as your own. So to go against those negative tendencies, those negative habits, you have to fight inside to say, no, I don't want this. I have to become better. So internal war, so peaceful, so nice, so happy. And once we start looking at ourselves as, what shall I say, made by God in God's image, how beautiful is that? God made man in his image. God made angels. God created heaven. God created a world of happiness, Where can that be? How can that be? And who will make that a reality? The knowledge gives us all the explanation. The knowledge gives us everything. And then when we talk about the knowledge is everything that we need. The soul needs body and soul. Why I say body? Once the soul becomes a good actor, it automatically gives the body what it needs, not more, not less. And so there is achievement everywhere, there is success everywhere, and there is growth and prosperity everywhere. So Raja Yoga is a beautiful, beautiful knowledge which can only be given by that one beautiful divine soul. So far, we have had so many great souls, but nobody, none of them, none of us can ever touch that one beautiful diamond. He descends on earth and he makes us into diamonds. Can anything be better than this? Can anything be more happy than this? Can anything be more beautiful or lovely than this? Only God, the magician, the teacher, the guide, the boatman, the gardener, the goldsmith, the jewel merchant, he can do it. Only one. And so when we think of God, our heart blooms with love. It overflows with love, with gratitude. And it says, how fortunate am I to be learning from that one? How fortunate am I to be a student of that one? How fortunate am I to understand myself when the whole world is still searching and searching? So what words can I use to thank God? What words can I use to say, I'm so grateful, I've taken so much, how can I return? Are there any words? None at all, only tears of love. Only tears of love. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Om Shanti to everyone.